See, that's why I was looking. I was like, how much? It doesn't tell you how much caffeine is in this, but because like I don't feel energetic or anything. It just makes my heart flutter.
Is there a list of how much caffeine's on it? Oh, it does. It says caffeine content 114 milligrams in a 12-ounce can.
Oh, well, mine's 91 milligrams in a 20-ounce bottle.
So this has way more than that one does.
I know, but not drastically more. I don't know. There's a ratio involved there, so I don't know.
But mine has more milligrams in it in a smaller can, too.
Yeah, that's what I meant. There's a ratio involved. I don't math. You know this.
I win. Not sure what I win, but I win.
I
win a heart attack.
That's what I was about to say. Okay.
Yay, we're giving out heart attacks today. You get a heart attack, and Luca gets a heart attack.
Oh,
Don't say that,
no.
Luli. Luli.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of From Art to Atoms,
The Ultimate Curiosity Show.
I'm Brandon Shoemaker.
I'm Mike Pulse.
And welcome back this week, since we took a couple weeks off there.
Yep, it's been busy for both of us, really.
Yeah, it has. So if you listened to our last episode, you heard about my shenanigans with my one-act play competition and how we had to switch plays at the last minute with 12 days before our contest. We finally figured out the math there. And so in 12 days, we launched an entirely new production, casting aside of Mice and Men, and instead doing Peter and the Starcatcher. And much to our happy surprise, we made it out of zone on March 13th and 14th, which meant that we were going to compete again at District that was on a Thursday and Friday. And the following Monday and Tuesday were the days for district competition. So we had only 2 days to do any changes or improvements that we wanted to. And that was also while hosting a dance competition at school. Mm-hmm. So we managed to do a little bit of stuff and just focus on, the basics that would improve the overall look of the play. And so we managed to rank high enough at District to get out of that as well. And now we are preparing to compete at the by-district competition level. So we're absolutely ecstatic that our little production that could has made it through 2 rounds of competition so far. When we were really just putting something together so that we could at least say, hey, we went and we tried.
Basically, you have not stopped, and so you still have to keep on going.
Well, yeah, that too. In those 12 days, we did not have a single day off long beyond those 12 days, because after that, of course, we had the competition and then the dance company and then the other competitions. So I took this past Wednesday off and finally had a day to just rest. And I think I think I told you, did I sleep till 2 that afternoon?
I don't remember.
Did you have something in your shoe?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
So anyway, that's been my life over our 2-week hiatus from the podcast. Not much of a hiatus at all from regular work. How was your 2 weeks?
Well, I started Shrek the musical rehearsals for school. I'm playing Peter Pan, dual cast, but King Harold, Fiona's dad, is a very small role. Act 1, Scene 1. Mm-hmm. And then I play Peter Pan the rest of the time in the show, which really isn't that much. Mm-hmm. I think there's like one scene where he's in it in like Act 3 or 4. Or no, Scene 3 or 4 in Act 1. Mm-hmm. And then not again until towards the end of the play when they do Freak Flag.
I thought Freak Flag was the end of Act 1.
No, I don't think so. It comes towards the end.
Oh, okay.
Because it's basically, Shrek has basically said, he's went off to go get Farquaad and get the fairy tale creatures back into their homes. Mm-hmm. And that did not happen. So towards the end of the play, they're like, we're going to take care of matters in our own hands.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So
don't worry. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you'll come see it. But exciting news though. So our district is putting the final touches on a new performing arts center, and this will be the first performance in the new performing arts center. And then it's kind of exciting for a small school district to have the backing of the district to actually fund the arts that way. And so band is going in there as well as the theater program.
Yeah.
And it seats 1,200. It's a really nice facility. So we were able to go in there this week for the first time and do rehearsals on the stage.
Oh, cool. How was that?
It's different.
Does it still have that new auditorium smell?
It does. The carpet, you could definitely tell the carpet is brand new. But and like so the water fountains have the water bottle fillers on it, and it's like 4. Like it's very low as far as how many bottles have been filled or saved because of this usage. But it's really nice inside. And again, the district, you would, I don't know, I guess in a small school district like where I'm at, you wouldn't expect that much money going into the arts.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for them. So,
yeah.
But so that's going on. And then I start spring break. I started spring break yesterday.
Yeah.
I start my week of spring break. And you guys have spring break in what, 2 weeks?
It's the first full week in April, I think. Yeah. The 7th through the 11th.
Okay. Yeah. So 2 weeks. Yeah. So it'll be my week of spring break and then a week between.
Yeah.
And then that. Okay. Yeah. So I start spring break. And so Brandon and I are taking a trip, are going to try to take a trip.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah. So we're going to go to Dallas to go to IKEA. We don't have one close to us, but I've been promising Thomas floor to ceiling bookshelves in the bedroom. And so we're finally going to go ahead and
build it.
We're going to home improvement this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to Al Borland and Tim Taylor it.
I know. I'm going to be Al and you're going to be Tim.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be telling me, this is how you work the saw. Do not cut your finger off, Tim. So we're going to be taking a small trip out of town to go to IKEA to get some bookshelves, and that'll help the foundation. If you've never seen a floor to ceiling bookshelf modification, find it up, do a search on YouTube. It's very interesting how they use the
Billy bookshelves.
Yeah, the skeleton of the IKEA bookshelves and make it look like it's a built-in. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And my goal is to have that done by this upcoming weekend before I return to spring break. Like, I want everything, maybe not painted, but everything sanded down and filled. All the little notches in the cabinetry are filled and ready to go. So, so that's our trip. Yeah, that's my spring break.
So I'm looking forward to my one day off for doing that. So
yeah, like you said, I just want to get out of town and not have to be out of town for school. So yeah, we're gonna go.
Yeah, but that serves as the perfect segue into what our topic is this week. So we are going to start what will be a periodic, maybe 1 or 2 episodes a season of what we're going to call book club. So we've talked before on here how we have recently joined a book club in town.
Recent. It's been since December for us.
Well,
it's
been a few
later,
months
so
now.
It's been a few months.
Yeah, it's been a few months, but that's still recent. That's recent to me. But anyway, so we're members of an in-person book club here in town, and even before that, Michael and I, both of us, have started sort of reading more than we have in the past. Mine has been primarily due to I've adopted a method of reading that Thomas recommended, and it's what he does, and he reads. God, how many books did he read last year? Over 100.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly how many, but basically what he does is he listens to the audiobook while he reads along, and I find that super helpful because it increases my reading speed. I'm a very slow reader, but that increases my reading speed and forces me to stay focused on it without, taking these little mental pauses and looking up and looking around at my surroundings and, oh, what's Luca doing over there or whatever. So that method has dramatically increased my reading speed and thereby has made me just want to read more, to the point where now granted, I've been busy for other reasons, but I have not watched any TV in probably the past 3.5 weeks. And anytime that I have had a little bit of downtime, I've read instead. So it's definitely become, I've always enjoyed reading, but it's always been a matter of, I don't have the time because it takes me so long to get through a book. And now I'm flying through books in, depending on the length, as little as a few days in some cases. So we wanted to start this new tradition, and we're just calling it book club. on the podcast where we will pick a few books that we've read over the past months. And these aren't by any means like the latest, greatest, most recent. Mine do happen to all be fairly recent publications now that I realize it. But that's not what we're going for. We're not trying to introduce the newest books that are out on the market.
We're definitely not making recommendations for newer books.
No.
This is not one of those.
No, but they are books that we have recently read and that
or reread.
Yeah, or reread, and that we find compelling and want to share with you guys and to talk about them. So Michael has selected 3 books that he's read recently, and I've selected 3 that I have read. And
I'm in my 5th book right now, but I'm not finished. I had to take a pause on that.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. So we've got a little selection for you. So how do we want to do this? Do you want to volley back and forth? You talk about a book, I talk about a book.
Yeah, I think that if we didn't go back and forth like that, it would be really boring for like 20 minutes of you talking, 20 minutes of me talking.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
That way people out there can like fast forward to and just skip you.
Ha, 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 ha. I know what you were going for there, but it didn't sound anything like it.
Not in the microphone.
Okay.
I could do my Kermit the Frog.
So do you want to start first or do you want me to start?
Howdy ho, this is Kermit the Frog here.
Oh, God.
Look at Piggy.
Okay, do we have to have a Kermit off here?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, anyway. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I mean, I have 4 books over here.
Oh, I didn't know you had 4.
Well, I grabbed one that I really liked.
Ooh, what's that? Talk about it.
So this is a science book that I heard about a while back, and I read it one year with my kids, and the district has approved me to get a classroom library. So I do have 15 or 16 titles, double copies of 15 titles or 16 titles coming in. And so this is one of the books. And then she also has another one. So this is The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. It's not fiction. It is talking about, and they're different chapters. So each chapter is different. Mary Roach was she was involved in like teaching hospitals. So she was in charge of the cadaver labs at a hospital. And so she wrote, and she still does write some books. So this is in 2003. So it's about 22 years old. And each chapter is different, very funny titles. But what it does is it talks about how human cadavers have helped us in different ways.
Yeah.
And so the cadaver becomes a character in each of the chapters.
Oh.
So like just a listing here. So like life after death, on human decay and what can be done about it. So that's about the body farms, like how they use the body farms, the cadavers of the body farms to determine cause of death in different situations. Another one's dead man driving, human crash test dummies, and the ghastly necessary science of impact tolerance.
Oh, wow.
So they use real bodies in crash test. The cadaver who joined the army, the sticky ethics of bullets and bombs, like what happens, that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
The holy cadaver, this was my favorite one. This is my favorite chapter, actually. The crucifixion experiments.
Oh.
Where they basically took cadavers and crucified them, as in, like what they did with Jesus and the prisoners way back in the day, to see actually how it would hold up and stuff like that. So just different chapters and stuff, but it's a very easy read, very well written. She uses a lot of stories and analogies. There are some pictures in it, but not much. Not pictures of dead bodies, but like just.
Oh, okay, good.
I realized when I said that. But it's just a very different, interesting book. If you're looking for, like I said, a quick read, if you like science and you like anatomy stuff, this would be a good book to start off with. And like I said, she does have several other books. Yeah. All kind of toned on the same thing, not on death, but very similar to just different real life stuff. Yeah. Best book of 2003 by the Entertainment Weekly, Amazon.com 2003 Editor's Choice. It was NPR Science Friday Best Book in 2003. So a lot of different awards for this book. But anyway, that's my first one.
Okay. All right. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is actually the first book that I read with this new reading model. And so this was actually one that I read back at the very end of the summer. And this is a novel. It's called The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. And she is an African-American author who has her specialty is horror fiction. She's a novelist, a short story writer, and also a professor at UCLA, where she teaches writing. And this novel is loosely based on, well, let me not say based on a true story, because it's not, but it's inspired by real events. So she discovered that, and I found all this out. I heard her talking about this book on the radio back over the summer, and she was alerted, she and her father, I believe, were alerted that they had a relative who had died at a reformatory in Florida called the Dozier School for Boys, where there were all these unmarked graves that were discovered. And actually, we're going to be devoting an entire podcast episode to that event in a few weeks. So once they discovered the bodies, they had to, contact the relatives and things like that. And she had no idea that they even had a relative who had been a prisoner at the reformatory. And so, of course, it's for underage boys. And in the novel, though, she basically used that as inspiration to tell this, of course, entirely fictional story. But in the novel, the protagonist, Robbie Stevens Jr., who she used the actual name of her relative as the name of her protagonist. But he is sent to the reformatory for kicking a white boy. This takes place in the 60s. He was sent to the reformatory for kicking a white boy who was trying to grope his sister. And so from there, he's sent to the reformatory. But the interesting thing about Stevens is that he sees ghosts.
Okay.
And so Robbie goes to the reformatory and he encounters all these ghosts on the campus. And, at first he doesn't understand why there are so many dead boys at this reformatory. And so the warden realizes that he can see them because the warden is actually aware of all the ghosts that are on the campus. And they're there to essentially torment him because he is the reason why so many of them died in a fire where they were locked in a building and the building caught fire and they weren't able to escape.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so the story is about how he is essentially, unjustly incarcerated for this, and how he is trying to survive with the ghosts and also with the jailers, and ultimately trying to find a way to escape because he finds out that there's no chance of him being released. So it was a really good book. It's really captivating. And, even though it's fictional, knowing that it was based on real events in terms of the reformatory itself, made it a really interesting read. And so much so that I went on and read another novel that was based on the same, not with the same supernatural elements, but another novel that was based on the same place.
Gotcha.
Which was called The Nickel Boys, which was also made into a movie that was actually nominated for Best Picture.
Okay.
So it didn't win, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but that was another one that that's why we're now going to devote a podcast episode to it, because I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole with the story of this reformatory. So what's your next pick?
I don't know. Let me go into, I guess, more of the fantasy world.
Okay. Take us to Fantasyland.
So you're going to find this one funny because,
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is like the fifth in a series.
And
there have been several.
Yeah.
This has been out for a while. This is one of the books that, 2018, that I got and just never really read. I haven't been really a big reader as far as books. I do comic books and stuff, but man, when I sit down to read books, I just tend to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I took up the same, I guess, additive that Thomas did, where I'm listening to audiobooks on my way to work. So I get 30 minutes one way. So about an hour of read every single day when I read books. So I can finish a book in about a week and a half now.
Yeah.
And he reads it at, I think, 3 times the speed.
2 times.
2 times. I'm not that fast. I read it like a 1.2, 1.4. So this was by Liz Braswell. It's a Twisted Tale. So if you've never heard of the Twisted Tale series, it's basically taking the Disney fairy tales and changing it up. Like what happens if something else happens towards the end where the ending doesn't really go per se. And so like in this one, this is the Little Mermaid's version. So it's part of your world, a Twisted Tale. What if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? And so it picks up 5 years after the end of the Little Mermaid's movie.
Okay.
And so where Ursula was defeated at the end of the movie, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so Ursula has now taken over as Princess Vanessa on the land.
Oh.
And Ariel has been reduced to, she's Queen of Atlantica.
Atlantis?
No, she's Atlantica.
Atlantica.
You know, because King Triton is still...
Oh, he's a shriveled little...
Yes. And so Ursula
thing.
or Vanessa has kept him. And so as punishment for doing what she did, all of Ariel's older sisters were like, we don't want this. You're the queen.
Oh.
So we don't want the responsibility. We want to live our carefree lives. You are stuck with all the responsibility of running this kingdom now. But the thing is like in the end of the movie with Ariel getting her voice back, she doesn't get her voice back yet.
Yeah.
So because Ursula still has the pendant with her voice. So she's been ruling for 5 years using sign language as communication.
Oh.
Which I find really kind of interesting because it talks about her adaptation to that. It starts basically, so the kickoff is that Scuttle, the seagull, finds out that King Triton is alive. And he decides to go ahead and send a message to Ariel, who has basically banished off the human world. She's just done with it. Yeah. And so when that message gets to her, that kicks off the entire book right there, where Ariel's like, okay, look, it's my responsibility. I have to handle this. The sister's like, no, you're not going back to the human world. You've already tried that, done that. And so she says, well, I've done this. I need to fix this. Yeah. So going to the human world again, she finds out that in the 5 years that Ursula won, basically. Yeah. That Vanessa, or Ursula, I need to figure out which one I'm going to call. Eric is still under her spell. Okay. And so he's been very kind of nonchalant about everything. And so Vanessa has been running the kingdom. Okay. But there have been wars that have been started, and she's taking over and destroying other kingdoms in the area. Okay. And the story gives a lot of background to Eric and the kingdom itself, and you find out why is he a prince and not a king? His mom and dad are still alive, apparently, and their kingdom that they live in, that he rules, is a subset of the larger kingdom. Okay. Okay. So they give a little bit about, like I said, a background story there to it. And when Ariel comes up, she's like, oh my goodness, all these people have been killed because of what I did. And then of course she takes on like, oh, it's my fault. I really need to fix this now, not only for my dad and my country or my kingdom, but this kingdom also. And so she decides to do that. Well, there are a lot of characters that are introduced. Yeah. And so one of the characters that kind of is kind of a silent character, I guess, is Vanessa's little maiden girl. Okay. And so she's the one who has seen Vanessa in her true form. Oh, okay. Because when Vanessa takes a bath, the tentacles come out as Ursula. And so this little girl is like sworn to silence though. Yeah. So when Ariel realizes that Vanessa's up there, she sneaks into the castle. She still doesn't have a voice. She runs into Carlotta, who is the, I guess, head maid. And Carlotta recognizes her, protects her, lets her go about her business really fast in the kingdom. Oh, okay. Or in the castle. And so Ariel ends up getting Ursula's pendant while she's in the bath. And she contemplates breaking it. She says, if I break this now and get my voice back, then the moment of surprise, the element of surprise is gone for me. Then Ursula will know something's up. Yeah. Because Ursula will also lose Ariel's voice. Yeah. And so in a rash moment, she decides to go ahead and just break it. She does it. And so now the element of surprise. So that happens. But when she does that, Eric's spell is also broken. Okay. But he doesn't remember anything. So he remembers from the point where they were getting married. And then that's it. And so, she goes into town. Ariel comes and goes into the thing. And apparently, so the Trident allows her to come on land for only maybe 2 days, 3 days. Okay. And so she has to go back on land to recharge the Trident or go back to the water that recharges the trident so she can keep her form.
Yeah.
And so what you find out though is like, and when I was telling Thomas this, he's like, well, what is Ursula's issue? Like, she wanted to rule the sea, so why didn't she, with the power that she had, why didn't she just rule the sea?
Yeah.
And come to find out that that when she had a taste for ruling the land, it wasn't enough for her. So she wanted to go ahead and rule it all at that point. And so that's why she stayed on shore. But there's a lot of catch and go back and forth kind of stuff where once Ursula realizes that Ariel is involved, so then she sets a trap for Ariel there. She basically says to all the kingdom people and the fishermen, it reminded me of a lot of Jaws, you know, like you need to go hunt this thing. And if you do, you'll get rewards.
Yeah.
And come to find out that she wanted them to hunt this mystical creature or mystical fish.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, okay, so they're looking for a mermaid, but they weren't. They're looking for flounder. So she captured flounder and was going to basically kill him. And Ariel, it was this big, long plot where Eric had also been writing arias from what his memory was of Ariel. And so it was about her.
Yeah.
And the whole town thought it was fake, but it wasn't, because that had been what he remembered. So he'd been I guess he thought that was like a memory or something like that, but it really wasn't his real life for him. And so they put together this little plan where they were going to get Ursula to be revealed as the sea witch if they got salt water on her. And so they were doing the opera for the entire kingdom, the performance for the entire kingdom. And they made it to where Ursula would be like, they built a throne for her and everything like that, so they'd play on Ursula's like need for being in attention. And so
you're not giving away the ending, are you?
I mean, you know how it ends.
Well, the listeners may want to find out for themselves.
Okay, well then
I didn't give away the ending of mine.
I'm just saying, well, I mean, you're gonna know how it ends. I mean, it's obviously that the story has to be rewritten to the right ending, you know. Anyway, so the Twisted Tale. So I finished this one. And right now I'm in the middle of A Whole New World, which is the one for Aladdin. So I will talk about the difference between the two. The Part of Your World, I like that one because it picks up at the end of The Little Mermaid, where she didn't win or didn't stop Ursula. And so it was like a 5-year continuation of the story. Right. In A Whole New World, it picks up in the middle of Aladdin, or very beginning of Aladdin, where he's basically chased around the village as a street rat. And Jafar recognizes that he is the key to the Cave of Wonders that can get the lamp.
Okay.
And the way this one changes is that Jafar becomes the Sultan and gets the lamp. Aladdin never does get the lamp. And so I'm not going to say I don't like it as much because of that, but it's not changing the ending or giving you more of a insight of what happens after. Right. Like the Part of Your World one, the Little Mermaid one did, which I like that aspect. It kind of like it continues this tale. But this one is like, if you know the movie, you know, in those parts, where like when he's in the Cave of Wonders, where he has the lamp and Jafar's like, as the old man, he's like, give me the lamp. And he does. And that's when Jafar takes over. And so the genie is then Jafar's throughout the entire book. And so, like I said, it wasn't that it was a continuation of the tale. It was it's a changing of the tale. But it happens early on in the film version, I guess, or in the film's plot line. That I didn't know that I would like. And I'm not sure that I like that just yet. Okay. Like I said, because the other one is the continuation of it. And then the one after that, I'm going to read, when I finish that one, I am going to read the Tale as Old as Time, which is the Beauty and the Beast one. And that one is basically, the plot line is like, what if Belle's mom was the enchantress that cursed the beast? Oh, yeah. And so that one's going to start basically at the very beginning. You know, you get more backstory on the beast and Belle and her mom. And so, and then so those are, I think, were the first couple of ones. And then it is expanded. Like there's some now with Alice in Wonderland. If you like Disney stuff, definitely a good reads, because you're familiar with the story and you don't have to spend a lot of time kind of building the world up, because you already know it, you know? Yeah, there's no world building necessary. Right. And there is that gives backgrounds, but it's not necessarily, you don't have to spend 4 chapters building to get to know the history of, you know, the characters and stuff. And so like, I like that. And like, that's like my Star Trek novels, you know, I read all those in the Star Trek universe, and I did like those because of that. I did not have to go. That's what it was. That's always my issue with fantasy, is I don't like sitting through the world building. No. Yeah. And they take so much time doing that. And
Yeah.
but I will tell you though, with the Star Trek novels, the novel verse itself ended 3 years ago or 4 years ago when Picard came out. They had to stop the novel verse, which had been going on since the 90s. Like it was 20 something years worth of novels.
Right.
And when you pick up a next gen novel, everything is completely changed because characters left. And then they have a whole new command crew that you wouldn't know about if you just picked up the most recent one, because they've been building these characters in for the past 20 something years.
Yeah.
And so the way they ended that I was not happy with that at all. It was very...
Wasn't it kind of like just a flat out reboot?
Yeah.
Sort of
not even a reboot. It basically connects Picard to the movies.
Okay.
And so everything that happened in the novel verse, and it's funny because, you know, we did that episode on...
Adaptation?
No.
Oh.
What was the one about alternate realities and stuff? String theory.
Yeah.
Basically, it was plotted lined on that one. They did 3 novels written by 3-part novel series written by 3 different authors, where you realize the novel verse is just a string separation from the Prime universe, and that all the different universes, because I guess a creature from one of the Next Generation episodes early on that would not even be anywhere near it. Remember the episode where they went to San Francisco and the creatures were sucking out the life force of everybody in San Francisco back in the past and stuff?
Yeah.
Those white creatures, they were the ones that were ending. They were going through all the different time zones and killing the time zone or timelines, sucking the energy out of them. And so they realized they had to basically destroy the novelverse timeline to save the Prime timeline. And so when they did that, the Prime timeline picked up right as Picard, the series, was starting.
Okay.
Which I was like, they basically just took 25 years of writing
and said,
yeah, F you. We're not going to let you read any more about it. And everything's dead and different. And everything you've enjoyed about it is now done.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of like, to the fans who've been hanging in there.
Right.
It's kind of like a slap in the face. So I was kind of like, So yeah. So that, I mean, that has nothing to do with, I guess, my part of your world book, but
I know I was sitting here thinking, okay, how much of this do I need to take out?
Don't take any of it out. I mean,
won't.
that's, you know, I can, and so let me go to that. So that got me going to, so 2 years ago, Patrick Stewart had a novel, his memoir came out, Making It So. Thomas got that for me. It's an autobiography, I guess, of his life. If you don't know, Patrick Stewart played Professor X in the X-Men movies from Fox. Also as Jean-Luc Picard in Next Generation for Star Trek. But the book that I read with it, and I enjoyed it because it wasn't, I got it for Star Trek, but Star Trek was only maybe 20 pages of it.
Yeah.
It was not about Star Trek at all.
Yeah.
He talked a little bit about it, how his life changed because of Star Trek, and how his life changed because, you know, he was living in London with a wife and kid, and then had to move to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And his wife was employed in London or France. Sorry. No, where was he at? Anyway, he moved around a whole lot.
Yeah.
But then the wife could not go. And so that difference of continental travel, it hurt them as far as their marriage and their relationship. And so it talks a lot about how Star Trek influenced his life on that end.
Yeah.
Not about actually being on the show.
Right.
It also talked a lot of his childhood, which I thoroughly enjoyed listening to or reading about, I guess, because it gave you aspects of, like, as an American growing up, we don't know what it was like to be in England at the time of the war, or England in those times. And that was very nice to kind of see that and hear that. And, you know, how he got his start into the Shakespeare Company as far as that troupe, and just, you know, and I didn't realize that he was actually in a play with Vivian Leigh.
Oh.
You know, so they went to, I believe it was Australia, and he was selected to be with her. And actually he knew her personally, like, you know, so I there's a lot of different things about his life that I did not realize beyond Star Trek. And so for me, the memoir was, the Star Trek what made me want to read it.
Right.
But so glad that I read it, or listened to him read it, because he does the audiobook, which in itself is very graceful, because, you know, if you've never heard Patrick Stewart's voice, it's very, very soothing.
Yeah.
It would be one I recommend for you, because I know, again, Star Trek would probably get you there, but knowing there was more about X-Men and his relationship with, what's Magneto's?
Oh, Ian McKellen?
Yes. I want to say Ian McGregor, and it's not him. More about that friendship than there was about Star Trek in it.
Well, because they knew
X-Men. Didn't
they know each other from their Royal Shakespeare days?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they didn't know each other until X-Men.
Oh, okay.
But they bonded over that so much.
Yeah.
That their friendship has lasted all these years later. But it's a really good read.
I definitely, in fact, I want to borrow that because I'm reading lots of memoirs right now. In fact, I told you I ordered 3 new books, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, last night. One of them is actually RuPaul's memoir.
Yeah.
But I'm reading memoir writing because that's what I'm working on right now is my memoir about my mom. I'm finally started working on that again, and I'm actually making progress now. So
yeah. So I mean, like I said, it is a very good read because you get to know a lot about his past and what made him what he was.
Yeah.
And you find out that Gene Roddenberry did not want Patrick Stewart at all.
Oh, wow.
They pulled him in, and Gene Roddenberry said, "No, I will not have that Stewart guy on my show." And they did not get along the first season.
Huh.
You find out that also. He tells about that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and it was just really good.
Yeah.
To learn more about him, and it was a very easy read, honestly.
Yeah.
And there were times that I was kind of like just marking, like again, it's a very, how many pages is it? It's a pretty hefty book.
430 something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a small read at all, but I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I will say that I did enjoy that one by him.
Yeah, that'll be my next read.
So that was really, I guess that's my only nonfiction.
Yeah.
The Will Stiff is not really fiction, so
yeah, that's nonfiction too. So okay, so I have one more fiction book since you skipped me and went straight to your third.
Well, I was in Star Trek world, so I decided to go ahead and do
fine.
that one.
So I have one more fiction book, and this is one that I actually recommended to our book club, our in-person book club for this month, and it's Daniel Aleman's I Might Be in Trouble.
Okay.
And it is, so Mike, now you haven't started reading this one yet, have you?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. So Michael is going to be reading this since it's one of our book club picks. But so, of course, I'm not going to give anything away regardless. But so what's interesting about this is the novel is about a novel writer. It's it feels very sort of metafiction, but it's also incredibly fantastical in many regards. So it's about a novelist who is struggling with his third book. He had a huge success with his first book, and then his second book was a flop. And so now he's struggling trying to come up with something for his third book to, get back on the horse, so to speak, which is heavily mirrored on Daniel Aleman's own novel writing experience. He wrote Indivisible, which I've read as well, and it was a huge success. And that was followed up by another book that was a bit of a flop. And then he wrote this one, his third, I Might Be in Trouble. But the book opens up with he's a single gay man who is, struggling to write. He had this long relationship with this guy that he truly loved, and they just couldn't make it work because he was sort of driving a wedge between them because of his writing. And he was, not that he was taking things too seriously, but he couldn't be satisfied with his writing, and that turned into a dissatisfaction with every aspect of his life, including his partner. And so they, end up breaking up. And so he's, he starts out in the novel single, and he goes out on this one night stand, or has a one night stand with this guy that turns into a night of drinks and fun throughout the town. It takes place in Manhattan. And so they have this great time and everything. And then they go back to the narrator's apartment. And when he wakes up in the morning, the guy that he has, had this amazing night with, like he's already envisioning what their life will be like together and all this sort of stuff. He wakes up the next morning and he finds the guy dead in his bed. And so
dead in his bed.
And what would be like the perfect setup for maybe a murder mystery or some sort of life-changing, experience or anything like that, instead turns into a new take on, like, almost like a Weekend at Bernie's sort of approach. It's a dark comedy that is absolutely hilarious because his reaction to finding the dead body is, oh my gosh, I should call 911, right? But instead he decides to call his literary agent. And so he doesn't tell her what's happened, but he just says, I need you to come over quickly. And so she comes over to the apartment and, of course, obviously discovers what the problem is. And proceeds to convince him that they've got to take the body back to his hotel so that they can just leave it and it can be discovered, and nothing untoward will be
that
suspected.
Always works that way.
Yeah. So it literally like I said, it turns into like Weekend at Bernie's Part 3, and it's just absolutely hilarious. But then at the same time, it's got some moments of like a psychological thriller as well, because there are some things that happen later on in the book that lead you to believe, well, wait a minute now, is everything exactly as it seems, or are there other things going on here? So it's really fun. You can't go into it expecting anything realistic. But I'll tell you what made the novel even better for me was when I read that Daniel Ellman was inspired to write this because of a real life scenario in which he had this relationship that was starting to develop with this guy. He didn't wake up and find him dead in his bed or anything like that, but he was starting up this relationship and things seemed to be going really well and all this sort of stuff. And then he found out that he had this whole other life that he was hiding from him. And so that prompted him to use that as inspiration to write this book, except in the book, he killed him off. So just knowing that as well, especially once you get further into it and you see all the developing backstory about this guy that he's discovered dead, you start to wonder, well, now, wait a minute, just how much of this is based on what really happened? Because there are like network names that are mentioned and
like real life
news networks are mentioned, and then it talks about hosts of shows and things like that, not real life shows, but then it makes you wonder, well, wait a minute, if he's basing this on a real situation and he's already name dropped a real network.
Did you research it at all?
Not yet.
If it was
not yet. I'm going to before we meet for book club, because I want to have that as a discussion point. I just haven't had the time to sit down and look at it, because that would take some of my Scooby-Doo super sleuth skills to try to figure out. Yeah, I can't tell you anymore, because otherwise it would give away too much since you haven't read it yet. But yeah,
I'll finish it because we meet for book club not next week but the week after, I guess 2 weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Like I said, just go into it, knowing that it's not realistic and it's just for fun, and you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
So that was that one. Daniel Ellman's I Might Be in Trouble.
Okay.
Which is a brand new novel, actually. This one, I think it just came out a couple months ago, like in December or so. And then my final selection is a nonfiction book. And this one is pretty heavy, not in terms of the size, but just in terms of the material. It's pretty heavy, and it's Wright Thompson's The Barn. And the subtitle is The Secret History of a Murder in Mississippi. And so it's about
North Mississippi or South Mississippi or Central Mississippi?
South.
Like the Gulf Coast South, or like...
So just let me finish. So it's actually about the murder of Emmett Till.
Okay.
So, everybody, knows the story of Emmett Till.
Not everybody. So tell us the story of Emmett Till.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Emmett Till was a 14-year-old black boy who...
wrongly accused.
Well, he whistled at a white woman in a store, and she chased after him. And of course, he and his friends ran away. He was from Chicago, by the way. He was not from Mississippi. And so he
was visiting family.
Yeah. He was visiting family in Mississippi, and the white woman told her husband about it. And so the husband and a posse of his friends came and pulled Emmett out of his relative's home in the middle of the night and
beat the crap out of him
and killed him. And so, but the specifics of the murder have always remained kind of under a veil of mystery, but because the body was found in a river. And his mother, when they took the body back to Chicago, she was of course appalled at what they had done to her son, but she was so angry about it that she had the photos of his body published And they are absolutely gruesome to see and to realize that, you know, grown men did this to this boy. But anyway, so in the book, Wright Thompson discusses the murder, but what he set out to do was to discover where the murder actually took place, because they knew where the body was found, but there wasn't any major investigation as to where it had happened and all this sort of stuff. And all the men associated with it, of course, got off scot-free in the trial. But the interesting thing is he really takes a deep look at race in this very isolated rural part of Mississippi, where even the reason he wrote this is because he is from that area in Mississippi. And he, you know, confronts the fact that his family is, you know, one of the major landowning families in the area. I want to say town, but it's not even really a town. It's he literally refers to it throughout the book as a plot of land within the 36 square mile grid whose official name is Township 22 North, Range 4 West. So, you know, that's the official name for where this barn exists. But anyway, the barn resides on the property of one of the people who was involved in the murder. And now, you know, it's owned by somebody who initially didn't even know anything about it. And, you know, he uses it as a barn. It's, you know, where he stores his Christmas decorations and things like that, until they recently had a commemorative plaque put up there.
Right.
But it's basically about Thompson tracing the story of Emmett Till through history, but also he talks about the history of the land itself from when, you know, settlers first discovered it and started, you know, using it as, you know, a vessel for growing crops. And he essentially talks about how the land itself seems to have been cursed from the very beginning. The interesting thing, you know, for those of us who, you know, like to believe that karma will ultimately have her way with the people who escape justice, you find out that definitely is the case with all of the people that were involved in the murder, because essentially after the murder, they all lived horribly depressed lives with, you know, not being able to maintain any sort of job, failed marriages and things like that. And so, you know, you realize that none of them, now granted, you know, probably none of them were ever destined for prosperity in the first place. But, you know, there is, I don't want to say some solace because it's still not enough, but, you know, knowing that they didn't exactly go on to live happy lives after getting away literally with murder.
Wish that was the real case.
What?
Wish that happened in real life.
No, this isn't a novel.
I know. I'm saying I wish right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the thing. Karma doesn't work overnight. So,
well, I need her to work faster because I don't need my life to end before I see it happen.
Anyway,
you know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah.
I mean, what are our final thoughts?
I don't know. Well, okay. Well, here's my final thoughts. So I've got two novels and one nonfiction. I'm discovering up until, you know, this past 6 months or so that I've been reading like this, most of the reading that I've ever done has been predominantly novels.
Yeah.
You know, but I am discovering a passion for nonfiction at a voracious rate. I've probably read at least double the number of nonfiction books compared to fiction over these past 6 months. And again, these are just three, you know, out of many. When we first started the podcast, I came in here with a stack of 5 books and said, okay, you're going to have to help me narrow this down to 3. And so my point with that being, if you've ever found yourself to be a slow reader like I am, or if you're a reader who is easily distracted while reading, try doing this method where you and one thing we didn't talk about, there are lots of free options for audiobooks if you don't like the thought of having to start out with buying the book, but then also you have to buy the audiobook too.
Yes, because we learned also through book club that we had options there, because Thomas and I were buying just Audible credits, which
can get really expensive.
Yeah, because you're paying basically $50 for 3 credits, which when you look at the price of a book, sometimes on Audible at $11, it's not worth using the credit.
Exactly. So, but the Libby app is the one that I love because it's literally, it attaches to your library card.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whatever your library, and there are a number of different library options. If your library is kind of limited, look and see if you have one in your area or even in your state that allows like statewide access, because that's what we have here in Texas.
Right.
Our local library is pretty limited. And
Yeah.
I had even bought a membership back to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library from when I used to live there and it was like $40 for a year. And I was able to access their their audiobooks through Libby as well. But in Texas, the Houston Library allows access for anybody in the state of Texas.
Yep. All you need is a driver's license or an address in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing. And then the Everand app is another great one. It's a little, I think it's $1 more than an Audible subscription, but instead of one book a month, you get 3 that you can use. And so that's definitely something to look into, because it would be stupidly expensive to buy a hardcover book or a physical hard copy of a book and the audiobook for everything that you want to read. So there are ways, around that so that you can save some money.
Especially if you're reading at the level of my husband, who's reading 12 novels or 12 books a month.
Yeah.
And so the Houston Library, we found that one out through Book Club.
Yeah. And the Everand app, actually.
Yeah. So that, I will say the only thing that's bad about the library stuff is that you have to, especially for the more popular books, the more recent books, you're going to have to put on reserve and then wait. And then you have a limited time. It's just like renting a book at the library. You put your name on a list. The book comes back from the previous person who had it. And you had it for like 2 weeks. So you have to read it within that time frame, which, Thomas has done, especially when he's reading series, because like he'll have, book 5. Like he just told me that book 5 was available, but book 4 wasn't.
Yeah.
In one of the series that he's reading. So he had to basically come back. He had to give up his spot in line to the next person because he's not there yet for that. So, I mean, it does have its pitfalls.
Yeah.
But when you're saving yourself $50, $60, you can deal with it.
Yeah.
And if you can't, I'm going to tell you, Thomas can deal with it because he is.
I like I said, I really, recommend the Everand app. By the way, this episode is not in any way sponsored by any of these folks that we've talked about so far. I wish they would, though. If you want to contact us,
but if you want to go ahead and let us know,
send us an email at FromArtToAdams@gmail.com. But anyway, Everand is really good because, like I said, it's, if you're a little, well, like I said, I've definitely picked up my pace. And so that's 3 books every month right there that I know I can get. And then plus I've probably been doing about between 5 and 7 books a month, I would say. It's slowed down this past month because of theater competition. But that notwithstanding, I've been doing about between 5 and 7 books a month, just depending on their lengths. And that's been enough, Everand plus, what I can get at the library. So
mine is definitely not that number. I'm so far behind on comic books right now because with rehearsals going until 6 o'clock every day, I am coming home, and we've been walking at the park recently, after that. So we're not eating until almost 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And it's just very much being, I'm exhausted. So I have slowed down on reading. Like I have a stack of comics I have not read yet.
Yeah.
Probably 3 weeks behind. But, I will attest to the audiobook method of reading. Like I said, I would not normally read a book. So it gives me that option to, read while I'm driving.
Yeah. I can't, obviously I can, but what I find is I can't retain as much if I'm just listening to an audiobook.
See, I'm the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I can retain more hearing it.
I have to, that's the thing. I'm a slow reader, but I can remember almost everything that I read. And so using the audiobook with the physical copy, the hard copy, that is what's really helping me to
keep it,
retain it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are we ready for trivia this week?
Yep.
Well, first, we have a little bit of business that we need to take care of from the past
Last
2
week.
weeks that we've been off, because we had two.
Have you been revealing answers on Instagram?
I revealed the first week's in the
Okay.
second week's post,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll review that as well. And so if you haven't checked into Instagram lately, our 2 posts that occurred during the last 2 weeks were trivia questions, and they were actually Jeopardy questions that I pulled from a website. And the first one was, it was convenient that Edmund Spenser died in London because he was buried in Poets' Corner here. Any ideas, guesses as to where that was?
No.
And I tried to do a poll and it did not work out right.
And no one commented on this one either.
Yeah. So nobody knew what that one was. But the correct response was, what is Westminster Abbey?
And the next one, this past week's question, or the answer was, about half of all English words are derived from this classical language. And I will give a shout out to Blake, one of my former students, actually got the answer right.
Yeah.
Or the question right. He said, what is Latin? So that is correct. So, yep. Good job, Blake.
So, yeah, even though we were taking 2 weeks off, we didn't want anybody to go for a week without any kind of trivia in their lives. So we made sure to post those out there for you. All right. So for this week,
brain games.
Absolutely
not. These are not it. These are all of the little crossword puzzles.
They're in with them, though.
Oh, no. Physics.
Oh, God. Okay. So this is our Jeopardy book that we're going from. So,
find.
Oh,
answers.
God. Michael is giving me the category of physics, and Lord help me.
Well, you can give me one like Shakespeare or something. Oh, you want biology?
I'll stick with physics. That's okay.
There's astronomy.
Ooh. Give me astronomy. I want astronomy.
All right, let me get to that page. Okay. 5 answers based on astronomy. The very first one. In 1991, radar images hinted that there was ice at the North Pole of this inner planet.
What is Mars?
Nope.
What is Venus?
No.
Not Mercury.
Yes.
Holy crap.
What is Mercury?
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Answer number 2. Our sun is classified as the yellow type of these small stars, with small in quotations.
What is a yellow dwarf?
Yep. Yellow dwarf is correct.
I did
or a
not
dwarf
know
star. The Crab Nebula is the remnants of a, quote, super one of these observed and recorded in 1054.
What's a supernova?
No.
Oh. What is it?
Oh, it is. Sorry. I was reading the wrong one. I was reading physics. I was reading, it says, what is recoil? I was like, no. Yes, supernova. Sorry.
A super recoil. That would be interesting.
This second largest planet takes almost 30 years for one solar revolution.
Second largest. What is Saturn?
Yep.
Okay.
And over 14 times the mass of the Earth, this planet is the 7th from the sun.
Oh, God. Hold on. What is Neptune?
No.
Uranus?
Uranus. Uranus. When we went to the Mid-America Science Museum, we went to the planetarium. The kids were like, she said, where do y'all want to go? Like they could pick, and they were all like Uranus, and she's like, just for the record, we refer to that planet as Uranus. I was like, oh my goodness.
Only because she's dealing with high school kids.
Yes, never, ever, 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 ever ask a high school kid what planet they want to go to. Give me biology.
No.
Yes.
You've already looked at the answers.
I didn't.
Okay.
Or give me a different science.
Nature?
No. Just give me biology.
General science.
Just give me biology.
They've got general science.
And so do I. I want biology.
That's like giving me theater.
No, it's not.
You teach biology.
I teach anatomy too. Come on, let's go.
Oh my God.
I probably don't know like 3 of them.
All right. First answer. Erythrocytes are known as cells of this color.
Who?
Erythrocytes.
Girl, she black and she wants respect.
God
Keep that in. Keep that in. That was funny. You can't let that joke go.
God. No, we'll get canceled.
By who?
Well, good point.
By who?
The only people who listen to us love us for despite any tasteless jokes we might make. And they would make them with us.
There you go. Keep it in.
God. Erythrocytes. What color?
Red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red blood cells.
It's obviously red or white. Why she gotta be white?
The adult human brain is made up of more than 10 billion of these nerve cells.
Neurons.
Yes. It's what the M stands for in mRNA, a single strand type of RNA.
Messenger.
Yes. I love how you're pretending to be stumped briefly long enough for me to look up the answer in the back. This type of cell division takes place in 4 steps: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase.
Mitosis.
No. And the last answer is, by definition, edentulous animals don't have these.
By definition, what?
Edentulous. EDENTULOUS.
Animals don't have these?
By definition, edentulous animals don't have these.
I don't know.
Or edentulous. Sorry, I bet it's edentulous.
I don't know that one.
Edentulous animals don't have these.
Holmes?
Teeth.
Oh, dental.
Dentulous. Yeah, that's why I was like, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
All right, give me chemistry. Let me see that one.
I don't see chemistry.
Chemistry's right after bio, I believe. They're in alphabetical order.
Because you already saw the answers.
No, I didn't have time to look up chemistry.
They're not in alphabetical order.
Well, there you go. See, I was wrong. I just don't want you to think I'm as smart as I am.
Chemistry.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, good God. Collectively, argon, helium, krypton, neon, radon, and
noble
xenon
gases
are known by this heroic name. Yes. In 1916, G.N. Lewis proposed that atoms in a molecule bond by sharing a pair of these particles.
Electrons.
Yes. In 1923, Bronsted and Lowry figured out that these substances donate protons to bases.
Acids.
Yes. The carbon dioxide molecule contains this many oxygen atoms.
CO2.
So what's your answer?
2.
Okay. This man, whose name is on a laboratory burner, invented a carbon zinc electric cell. Yes.
What kind of easy questions?
Oh, but what's his first name?
Probably something stupid. Is he German? Russian?
No.
Austrian?
No.
Edward.
Robert.
I was close.
Give me Shakespeare.
Okay. You found it for me?
No. It's a couple pages back, though.
Oh.
You already saw it.
You could have given me physics. That would have really knocked it out. Pop music. Pop music.
You asked for chemistry.
Scientific discoveries would have been a good one.
Shakespeare.
I'm looking. Explorers. 13 colonies. State capitals.
Giving me the bar.
I am looking for it. Where is it?
I don't know. You saw it earlier, so it's got to be near physics.
I gotta find it. Oh, there's no.
Flip back at the answer pages and see if you can see them quicker there.
East of the Mississippi. Literature.
Shakespeare.
I'm looking for it. I'm gonna give you potpourri.
No.
Witty quotes. Fictional characters.
Shakespeare.
I'm looking. I'm just going over these, just so you have a little idea of what's in this book.
Good to know.
Theater. Okay. Shakespeare paid part of the cost of building this theater that opened in late 1599.
What is the globe?
That is incorrect.
Oh, what is the rose?
No. Is it the globe? Is it flat or round?
What?
It was a globe.
Oh.
Again, is it flat or round?
Round.
The globe is flat.
What the are you talking about?
Flat earther here. Shakespeare's 37 plays are traditionally classified into 3 groups: comedies, tragedies, and these.
What are histories?
Alternative 2-word name for the 1623 volume of Shakespeare's collected plays.
What is the first folio?
What's the second one?
Huh?
Is it the second folio?
Probably.
Okay. In The Merchant of Venice, this man's daughter, Jessica, elopes with Lorenzo.
Who is Shylock?
Yep.
Okay.
It's the last name of the character who is Tybalt's killer and Mercutio's friend.
What is Montague?
Yeah. Why would you give... You know that stuff. Why would you pick that?
Because I wanted to prove that I knew something.
You know something here.
Just like you did with biology and chemistry. 2 subjects that you have taught.
The human body.
Oh, God.
Actually, the body human.
Okay, Slim Goodbody. Hit me.
Do you really want it?
Yeah.
Let me get to the answers. Hold on. Okay. This joint consists of 8 carpal bones.
What is the wrist?
Yes. During swallowing, your epiglottis prevents food from entering the windpipe.
What is the trachea?
Okay. I have some of those at home.
Tracheas?
Beef tracheas, yeah.
Oh, for the dogs.
Yeah. With a name like an orchestral drum, the eardrum is also known as this membrane.
What is the tympanic membrane?
Yep. Blood is carried to and from the head by the carotid arteries and these principal neck veins.
Oh, what is the, oh God. Hold on. Don't tell me. Jugular.
Yep. This pancreatic hormone is produced in specialized cells in the Isles of Langerhans.
What? The Isles of Langerhans? Is that a mystical land in the Atlantic?
No, that's what they call that part inside of the pancreas.
What is it again? Okay.
This pancreatic hormone is produced in the specialized cells in the islets of Langerhans.
Pancreas.
Think what the pancreas does.
Is it? It's not bile. Is it?
No,
that's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
I know it produces. It's not a hormone, but I know that it produces acid, hydrochloric acid.
No, it does not. The stomach does that.
No, but the pancreas. West Wing.
I'm telling you right now, your pancreas does not work well. Mine does not work well. And almost every fat person's pancreas does not work well.
What's the hormone?
Insulin.
Oh. I forget that insulin's a hormone.
Yeah. And that about does it for all of us on this week's episode of From Art to Atoms.
I feel like a defeated champion.
I'm Michael Fols.
I'm Brandon Shoemaker.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
You've been listening to From Art to Atoms, the Ultimate Curiosity Show, episode number 26. Your hosts are Brandon Shoemaker and myself, Michael Fols. The show is produced by Brandon Shoemaker and is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show to stay up to date on all of our latest episodes and news. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggested topics you'd like for us to dive into, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us at FromArtToAtoms@gmail.com. We would love to hear from our listeners, and we value your input. Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and behind-the-scenes content. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at From Art to Atoms. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps us reach even more interested minds like yours. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay curious.